Hi, how are you today? We're here at a project that we're working on now. It's one of our first solar integrated roof projects using our famous Artezanos hybrid roofing system. We are going to show you not exactly the installation, but we're going to show you techniques that help to facilitate an installation of this product. We're here with Daniel Arguelles from Artezanos Inc. He's the owner and the designer of the Artezanos hybrid system. Danny, how did you basically come along with this project? What brought you to this point?
Well, we were manufacturing roof tile for 20 years, creating a sustainable handmade roof tile that has a very low energy input, and it weighs because it's roof tile. Like any roof tile weighs, but it has some very sustainable benefits in that it gives you insulation to your house. It lasts a long time, so it has longevity. We had a problem with the freight because tile is so heavy, the freight was killing us. And with the escalation of fuel prices, the prices of roof tile were starting to skyrocket. People were becoming less apt to purchase roof tile because it's expensive. So we designed a system that would minimize the use of roof tile, another noble material, metal. Metal roofing has been around for hundreds of years. It lasts just as long as roof tile, but they inherently have some benefits in that they're lightweight, they have longevity as well. It's extremely easy to incorporate solar energy systems with them and roof gardens. By the inverse weight savings that you have from a hybrid system, you can put back the weight in a form of a heavier roof garden that also incidentally happens to be very lightweight. The minimized pieces per square, you install less pieces per square so you can conserve on your tile. The solar energy system offsets the expense for traditional roofing material that you would otherwise be purchasing. You would get a high performance between the metal pans and the roof tile. And incidentally, this is a universal system, so it could be used with any type of profile system. You could do the whole roof, or you could do a portion thereof. And that's the advantage there, is that you can get a 30% federal tax credit across the board for use of a solar energy system on a roof, regardless of what the footprint of the solar is.
What I'm understanding basically is what you're trying to tell me is that you've found a way to integrate an aluminum pan tile with a clay barrel tile. Is that what you're telling me and you're telling the people here?
Yes, we substitute 5 pan tiles that weigh about 6 to 8 pounds apiece with 1 step formed aluminum metal pan or galvalume pan and weigh substantially less. Incidentally, we increase the attachment resistance using polyfoam for hurricane resistance.
Now Daniel, tell me, what brought you into this?
For the last 20 years, we've been passing ordinances and getting resolutions through municipal governments in order to preserve historical barrel roof tile. We preserve tiles that were brought here in the 1920s for the intent of making old new homes look old. We have done restorations where we've reused and recycled the existing tile. This is going back 20 years ago. We've worked with Tallahassee to resolve situations where historical structures did not have the money to go ahead and place a new roof. We found them solutions where they'd be able to reuse and recycle, which is actually what the Secretary of the Interior recommends for National Historical Structures.
What you're trying to tell me basically is that we can reuse tile? We don't have to just throw it away after the useful lifespan of the roof is over? We can actually maybe use that tile again and not fill a landfill? Is that what I'm understanding from you?
Tiles have been used for thousands and thousands of years over and over again. As a matter of fact, in the 1920s, during the boom era in construction, mass developments like Coral Gables, City Beautiful, the developer Merrick brought million tile consignments on schooners from Cuba, and when he depleted the availability, he would send off his guys into the Mediterranean countries, Spain. We have documentation showing that the tiles came from 18th century Spain. So you have tiles that range from 200 years old to 500 years old 80 years ago that we are currently reusing again.
So now, for everybody out there, what Daniel is basically, from my understanding, is trying to tell me is that he's used very antiquated, very traditional way of laying roof systems and roofing tiles with a very unique and very high quality handmade product that has been primarily only accepted for larger homes and people that have quite a bit of money. So what I'm understanding as well is I think he's developed a system where he can integrate all the facets of this beauty into a price that I think is very accommodating for the average homeowner that may not have the budget of the larger scaled homeowner. Is that what you're trying to tell the people?
Yeah, for the last 20 years we've been doing rich people's houses, and because it has a high attachment resistance with our regular Artezano product, before we came to the hybrid, our roof tile has 111 foot-pounds of attachment resistance, which is very high, instead of 20 pounds of attachment resistance. The people who have the estate homes on the water, naturally in the high wind zones, like the hurricane high velocity wind zone here in Dade County, very strict, one of the strictest in the world, they assign uplift values to systems. And we have a Dade County product control approval for the last 20 years for these uplift resistances that have to be, placed for engineers to calculate, roofing inspectors to calculate.
During the introduction, when I was showing the installation techniques of the Artezanos hybrid system, I had mentioned to you this NOA with this attachment number, the 194 pounds of uplift. This is the number that Danny is discussing right now.
Well, as I was starting to say, when we eliminated the pan tiles of the roofing system, we were in essence trying to find a way that we could bring the high-end roofing systems that could take the high wind velocities out on the coastal areas and make them a more sustainable installation with less pieces and higher wind resistance. We went from 111 to 194, which is the highest in the industry with polyfoam at the moment in the entire state of Florida.
Now, how long has it been taking you? I mean, what kind of investments have you been making to make this happen?
Well, it's been a lot of processes. It's been a lot of time and involvement and money. We started this in 2006 when the petroleum started to go up. Our container prices started to go from 500 to 2,000. Our inland trucking freight went from 500 to about 2,500, and we knew that something had to change. We designed the system initially to minimize the pieces per square, and also to make it lighter weight. For instance, in our shipping, 18 40-foot tractor trailers loaded to the hilt can now be replaced by 6 containers of tile and 1 container of metal. So you have a difference of about 11 containers. We could send material from Miami to California for a fraction of the cost and be competitive.
We can all understand what he's saying. For the same amount of roof coverage, how many containers would you need of standard clay barrel tile in comparison to the hybrid system?
Well, like I mentioned, 18 containers is the equivalent of 6 containers of tile and 1 container of metal. So you have 7 to 18. The difference is 11 containers. So it's a substantial amount of savings that you have there. Also on the installation side, transport side.
So now, if you look at the number that we're talking about here, we're talking about $2,000 a container. We're talking about a savings of 11 containers. That's $22,000 just in container costs. Now we have inland logistics like he was discussing, transportation, short term. Can you imagine the savings that you can create by using this hybrid system? The benefits of having the attachment, the curb appeal of having a traditional, truly traditional roof?